Good morning, everybody. All right, so today I'm going to read through my narrative because this is what you're going to do. You're going to read yours aloud. I guess I shouldn't say aloud, but in your head, okay? But you're actually going to lip sync this. What I mean by that is you are going to move your mouth to as if you were saying the words, but obviously you're just saying it in your head. Okay. So the reason that we lip sync when we look back at our rough draft that will be turned in for a final draft is because research has shown that writers who reread aloud or at least lip sync what they read catch more errors and changes that they want to make than those who just read in their mind without moving their lips. So I'm going to read mine, and what I'm going to be doing is looking for anything that I might want to change the wording of, add to, or if I find an error, okay? And before I even start, the thing that you're going to do today is go up to your toolbar up here, and you're going to go where it says spelling and grammar. Make sure that show spell suggestions are checked and show grammar suggestions are checked. Okay, both of those should be checked. For some of you guys, I noticed they weren't both checked. And then you're going to click on spelling and grammar check. Woo! And I actually wanted it to be spelled wrong because it's like, forget about it. It's how she talked. So I'm going to ignore that. Otherwise, it says it looks good. I'm also going to do a Grammarly check real quick. Okay. And whoops, Grammarly's down here. And I'm going to go through. Nope, I do want the word really there, so I'm going to dismiss that. Sometimes it's saying I'm redundant, meaning I'm repeating this too many times, but it's a purposeful again and again, so I actually want to keep that. Nope, I want to keep that too. So sometimes Grammarly tries to change things that you actually put there on purpose. Like it's saying totally might be unnecessary. No, I want that word there. Unbuckled the seatbelt. Oh, so I didn't need a comma. So yes, I will take that one. She replied, unnecessary comma. So yep, I'll take that suggestion. Don't need that suggestion. Nope, I did that on purpose. Daily, visiting daily. Yep, I will take that suggestion. Nope, I did that on purpose. It's saying the word through is redundant, but I did that on purpose because it's an again and again, so I don't want to take that. Okay, so really go through all of your Grammarly, click on your Grammarly checks and think to yourself, is it something I want to change? It's also going to try to make changes on the rubric, which I'm just going to ignore because we're not even focused on the grammar in the rubric, okay? So goodbye. All right, so now that I've checked my Grammarly and made sure that I didn't make all the necessary changes that they wanted me to, and that I also went to tools and spelling, now I'm going to read it out loud and check to myself. Is there wording that I want to change or anything? And maybe this will be a good mentor text for you to listen to. Leaving teaching, the McDonald's meal that changed my mind. Growing up, I really didn't take a lot of what my Grandma Julie said to heart. What I mean by this is, I thought she had her life together. So when she gave us bits of her wisdom, I let them brush off of me, like a leaf falling from my sweater. That's what grandmas do, provide candy to their grandchildren, spoil them with attention, and somewhere in between, hope that they take those bits of wisdom and let them sink into their life. I don't know if I like the word sink into their life, and let them take those bits of wisdom and let them, maybe I put and sprinkle them into their life. And sprinkle them into their life. I like that better. So see, I'm just making some word changes that I prefer. Grandma Julie was a strong-willed and stubborn woman, but she didn't mind letting her heart hang on her sleeve. As far back as I can remember, she lived alone. My grandpa Horseman divorced her for another woman before I was even born. I never really cared to meet him anyways. And I don't know if I want the ... I think I'll just make that a period. Although quiet and stoic, Grandma had a funny bone that stuck out like a sore thumb. The thing I remember most about Grandma Julie before she passed away was how her stroke made her feel so dependent on others. She couldn't cook her own dinner, she couldn't make her own bed, she couldn't get dressed on her own, she couldn't bear anyone helping her that much. It was discouraging. And I forgot to label that as again and again, so I'm going to do that. It was discouraging. She cursed under her breath many times when things that used to seem so easily accessible to her were now, in her words, quote, a pain in the arse. One time, the time I'm writing about, was when Grandma and I both had a day that was a pain in the you-know-what. That day, at school, year 2 of teaching, I should probably, any number less than 10 you need to write out. Year 2 of teaching was one of the worst days of my career. I don't think I need to say teaching again, because I already said teaching. Yeah. I left my usually organized room totally unkempt as I walked out without my backpack to my car, with only my keys and phone in hand. I half-heartedly waved to students who yelled my name cheerfully as I exited the school. Once in my car, I let the waterfalls flow. Why do I feel like a failure? Why does teaching feel so hard? Why can't I let go of my stress? Why did I choose to teach in the first place? Labeled that tough question. Mascara smeared under the tired pockets beneath my eyes. I needed to leave the parking lot, and fast. Hangry and emotional, I sped to McDonald's and ordered my usual, a fish fillet meal. I grabbed a second meal and a hot fudge sundae with nuts. I think I'm just going to say I grabbed a second, number 6, and a hot fudge sundae with nuts, Grandma's favorite. She always knew what to say on rough days like this. As I rounded 2nd Street, I begrudgingly unbuckled my seatbelt and plucked the brown paper sacks out of the driver's seat. When Grandma got to the door, I looked nothing less than a hot mess express. Her little giggle and open arms told me she was happy to see me. As we unwrapped our greasy meal, I told her about the catastrophe. She replied, I'm going to say she replied with her gentle, soft hand on my shoulder. Oh, Ness, you'll put yourself through hell if you keep worrying like this. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up and work hard. I tried hard to concentrate on the shape of the tile floor so I could stop myself from crying. Again. It didn't work. And I'm going to emphasize the word again because I was already crying with italics. Oh, there we go. Grandma, I don't know what to do anymore. I feel like I'm battling with myself and my profession, I replied. Don't stop caring, but stop caring about everyone else's cares and worries. You can't help everyone. They have to want to help themselves, and you can't carry all that on yourself. Do what you can, and forget the rest, she smiled. I didn't realize until that moment, I'm going to make sure that's a new paragraph. I didn't realize until that moment that I truly was carrying the emotional and mental baggage of all my students without letting it all leave my backpack at the end of the day. I don't think I need the word all in there. Without letting it leave my backpack. At the end of the day, I couldn't pour from an empty cup if I had nothing to give myself. She adjusted her arm in her sling. I felt rude venting to her about my problems when I knew she was struggling too. I couldn't imagine living alone while also being dependent on others, complete strangers, nurses, visiting daily with Meals on Wheels. They even bathed and fed her. I knew she hated that so much, but she knew it was her new reality. How are you doing? I asked hesitantly. And be honest, I want to know. Grandma laughed, coughing at the same time to clear her throat. Oh, I don't know. Same old, day after day, same thing, new QVC ads. Like my dad, I feel like that needs a new paragraph here. Like my dad, Grandma Julie made a joke out of any uncomfortable conversation she didn't feel like delving deeper into. I don't know if I like how that's phrased. She made a joke out of any uncomfortable conversation. I don't even think I need this. I guess that's where he got it from. I keep on keeping on because I have to. Who else is going to bring me a delicious, healthy dinner like McDonald's if I'm not around, huh? She smirked. Grandma always had a way of making things better. So here's my reflection paragraph. Grandma always had a way of making things better. Through words, through fresh baked food, or through hugs. And the through is again and again. So I better mark that. That terrible day of teaching taught me that I need to rely on my family in times of struggle and despair. I often figured Grandma had her life together, but she made me realize that sometimes it's okay to fall apart. Vulnerability is strength. That's what my Grandma Julie taught me. It's okay to show your struggles with others because more than likely they will share back. After all, we're all a work in progress. Okay, notice how I made some really good changes by rereading it out loud. Okay, and you're just going to lip sync yours because you're not necessarily going to be reading it out loud in front of everyone. When you finish doing that, you want to make sure that you highlight everything, which Karsten showed me the other day, that it is Control, oh gosh, I hope I get this right, Control A, okay, and that highlights everything. And you want to make sure it's size 12, and you get to pick the font, remember, all right? And then you also want to make sure that everything is double spaced, all right? Also, make sure that your entire title, so if you need to pause the video right now and do this, your title, each word is capitalized in my title, okay? Except for words like in or my or the, okay? And you can bold your title and leave a space. Notice there's a space here. And to center your title, you can click the center button. All right, and I think making sure you have your name, period, English is capitalized, my name's capitalized. Capitalize your name, it's important. And then today's date, which is the due date, okay? You're going to go to File. Okay, why am I struggling to find the print button? Okay, File, Print. Mine's just right here, the little print. And you're going to go to HL09, so I want to see more. HL09 right here, and that is the library printer. Now, one thing that's not going to transfer over is your signposts. So, once you go print your paper out, what you're going to need to do is to annotate your paper. So the next thing is print it out, go staple a rubric on top of your final copy, put your name on your rubric, then annotate your paper. So like go back and put AA in the line with a pencil because that is not going to print out, right? Because it's a Google comment. So you're going to have to go back to your tough questions and like annotate it off to the side. Last thing is I want you to pick one really good line that you would call a golden last line. And we call a golden line something that you feel is your best line that you wrote. And one that I really like that I wrote that I'm going to highlight with a highlighter is, I have a few that I really, really like, and I think I did a good job with descriptive word choice. But I think I'm going to go with... I think I'm gonna go with the line. This is hard. I really like the line with mascara smeared under the tired pockets beneath my eyes. I needed to leave the parking lot and fast. But I also really like the line where it says, I left my usually organized room unkempt, which means messy, and half-heartedly waved to students. Because that really painted a picture in my head of how I was distressed, but I was still trying to like put on a fake face for the kids. So whatever you feel like is your golden line that you think you're most proud of, it could be something that's really descriptive. It could be something that has weighted words. It could be something that is a signpost, or it could be a quote. Whatever line you're most proud of writing, I want you to actually go back to the counter, grab a highlighter, okay, and highlight that line and label it GL for golden line. And that's the line that you're most proud of writing. So one sentence. Okay, so to recap in this video, you just watched me go through my whole piece of writing, change anything that I needed to change, make sure it's formatted correctly. I printed to the library. When you get done printing to the library, go get a rubric from the back counter, put your name on it, staple the rubric on top of your final draft, then annotate your notice and notes off to the side with a pencil and highlight with an actual highlighter your golden line that you're most proud of, okay? So that will take you the entire period. And then you can put it on the counter by the microwave when you're done. Awesome.